Hey, my Crew Philly peeps. Welcome back to the Crew Philly YouTube page. My name is Josh, and I am here to tell you about another Jesus tidbit today. Today we're going to be looking at Matthew 8, verses 23 to 27, where Jesus calms a storm. And so let's jump right into the word and let's figure out why is this significant for us, and really why is it significant in general that Jesus can do this. So let's read. So it says, Then he, Jesus, got into the boat, and his disciples followed him. Suddenly a furious storm came up on the lake, so that the waves swept over the boat. But Jesus was sleeping. The disciples went and woke him, saying, Lord, save us, we're going to drown. He, Jesus, replied, You of little faith, why are you so afraid? Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. The men were amazed and asked, What kind of man is this? Even the winds and the waves obey him. Now, first thing you should know is this was not during the day. This was not a just afternoon, trip across the ocean. Jesus had actually been healing people left and right. They were bringing demon-possessed people, and he was saying, be gone, and the demon would be gone. He would touch people, and he'd heal their ailments, and it got to evening, and Jesus told the disciples, get the boat, we're going to go across. Traveling by water at night in Jesus' day was extremely dangerous. This was not something that even very well equipped travelers would do. They would not travel across a lake or a body of water at night. But Jesus, as always, knows what he's doing. He knows the plan that's going to happen. He knows how he's going to reveal himself. And so he asks the disciples who follow him, right? Jesus asks, and his disciples follow. So let's look at what are the significant points of this. First, Jesus is asleep on a boat during a storm. Think about the craziest storm you've ever been in, whether it was a thunderstorm that just rolled in. Think about 50 mile an hour winds. Think about just wind and rain that's just hitting you in the face, right? And you can't walk through it. You can't, it's starting to puddle on the ground. It's starting to grow up. And think about that on a boat. Just wind and waves, and the waves are coming up and over, and they're crashing down, and I wouldn't be able to sleep if I was on a boat and water was sloshing around on me. But Jesus is full of peace. Jesus knows what's going to happen, and he is calm. The disciples, rightfully so, are losing it, right? They just don't know what to do in this situation. These are professional fishermen. These are tax collectors. These are people who have never ever sailed ever in their lives, but they are all so fearful for their lives. Even though they just saw Jesus heal all of these people, even though they just saw Jesus do incredible, miraculous things, but no one has ever controlled nature in this way yet. We know what Jesus can do with a storm. They don't. And so they wake Jesus up, and Jesus says this to them, You of little faith, why are you so afraid? He then gets up. He calls out to the wind and the waves, and they stop. And he has just done something incredible. He stopped the wind and the rain and the waves. It'd be one thing if he just stopped the wind, right? It'd be another thing if just the rain stopped. But he stopped everything. I don't know if you've ever thrown a pebble in a body of water, but the ripples go and go and go and go. And it takes forever for that water to become still again. Jesus speaks, and the chaos around him is still. I don't know if you're as amazed as the disciples are about what Jesus just did. But let me see if I can put it in words that can relate to where we're at. We live right now in a time of chaos. We don't know when we're going to be allowed out of our houses. We don't know when we're going to go back to school. We don't know when we're going to be allowed to work our jobs again, or when our jobs will be considered essential. We don't know if there will ever be a cure for what's happening. We don't know when a vaccine will come and when we won't have to wear masks anymore. And I'm sure there are some of you who are very fearful for your lives right now. And it doesn't, whatever situation it is, it doesn't have to be COVID-19. It can be a situation that is happening in your life right now that you're just afraid of, or that you're frustrated with, or just something that you are out of control of. And Jesus is able and capable of calming our chaos. How wondrous of a thought is that Jesus can calm our chaos. Will you stand in amazement when Jesus calms your chaos? Will you take your chaos to him and say, Lord, save us? That's all it takes, is coming to God, coming to Jesus and saying, save me. And he gets up, he goes to work, and he calms our chaos. I want to thank you so much just for taking some time to go through this Jesus Tidbit with me. If you are enjoying the content that we're putting out, please like, share, or subscribe to our page. Let other people know about this content that we'll be putting out weekly and monthly as long as this is going on, and hopefully we'll continue doing it afterwards too if we have the time. And I won't leave without saying this. Toodles.